So he sends me pictures of right where Charlie was murdered. And he says, we need to put pavers in this place. We don't have a whole lot of answers. We're told by, people above us that we've got to put pavers in, today and tomorrow. It needs to be in by Monday.
Explosive new evidence just surfaced in the Charlie Kirk investigation. A landscaper claims that he was hired 24 hours after Charlie's body hit the ground to clean up a scene at Utah Valley University. Dan Merell is a contractor whose shop in Provo is just 2 miles away from UVU, where the shocking events of September 10th took place. Like most people, he got the news online and was very shocked by it. So when a contractor called and said people above his pay grade needed him and his team to put pavers at the scene of Charlie's demise, all he wanted to do was help his community. At least that's what he thought he was doing. But when he arrived at the scene an hour and a half later, the ground had been dug up 10 inches deep and his team was instructed to put pavers in.
They had taken out about 10 inches of the dirt around the whole place, right? Right now you can see where the pavers are. Everything under that, probably 10 inches had been excavated.
At first, sources close to the situation alleged that the FBI dug the ground to uncover bullet fragments. However, in light of new data, the actions of the FBI and Governor Cox have reportedly been exposed as more of a cover-up than an investigation. And Dan Merell's team was the alleged final chess move that would seal the operation. Insiders claim that chairs and other equipment were moved within minutes. Spectators and various other personnel were reportedly allowed to walk all over the crime scene and even take memorabilia for several minutes afterward. Tents, chairs, and tables involved at the scene were allegedly not preserved or whereabouts unknown. Another unusual incident is that the camera inside of the tent that had a back view of the position Charlie was seated in was reportedly removed immediately after. Sources also report that the necklace Charlie wore that day, which is believed to contain the explosive device that took him out, was not kept or collected into evidence. Now, this is the part that's weird given that Frank Turek mentioned that the police were looking for the necklace. It was also the first thing that Erika reportedly asked for as soon as Charlie's body was brought in. Frank Turek revealed that he later found the necklace draped across his bag, so he handed it over to Mikey McCoy, who then passed it on to Erika.
We're about to leave. We finally got access to the car again. And Erika was asking for a necklace that Charlie was wearing. It's a cross necklace and had some medallions on it. And when I went into the back seat of that car, I pulled my bag out and that necklace was attached somehow, just kind of draped over the bag. So I gave it to Mikey and I said, Mikey, I want you to give this to Erika. It was a comfort to her.
Days later, we see Erika in a drive-thru where she holds up said necklace. But here's where it gets interesting. According to Andrew Colvett, this necklace was gifted to Charlie by Erika, who once asked why he never wore a cross despite being a Christian. Charlie's response was that he wasn't a jewelry guy, so Erika got him his first cross.
Yeah, that was actually a necklace that Erika gave Charlie when they were dating. And she said, well, you're a Christian, why don't you wear a cross? And he said, I don't know, I'm not a jewelry guy. And something happened where he was pressed and he felt the weight of the world on him, and he put that cross on and he never took it off again until he was assassinated. And the people caring for him ripped it off as they tried to save his life. And Erika has it on her all times now.
As if the irregularities surrounding Charlie's demise couldn't get any worse, sources have reported that the SUV which Charlie was transported to the hospital in was cleaned out and sold off the following Monday.
What happened to the car that Charlie was driven into the hospital while he was still alive? Or better yet, what do you think should have happened to that car, or what is required to happen to a car after someone is assassinated in a car or like is bleeding in a car and there's evidence? I would have assumed that the feds impounded the vehicle. I would have assumed that they then impounded the vehicle for further inspection, but that if I had assumed that, I would be wrong, actually. What happened is immediately after the car was transported to it was towed to a towing facility that's just kind of really around the corner from the hospital. And then from there on Monday, they had another tow truck come and take that car so that it could get a cleaning and be immediately put up for auction.
All of these successive events beg the question of whether or not Charlie's demise was premeditated. If Tyler Robinson pulled the trigger that day, or if it was Charlie's own security team that failed him. His chief of security, Brian Harpole, mentioned in an interview that his team was not allowed to use drones that day. However, sources have uncovered that statement to be untrue.
Our list of Turning Point lies is just getting longer every day. Yesterday, we talked about Brian Harpole, the security guy who was not convincing at all. And he basically said, we didn't have drones because looking at the rooftops, because I wasn't allowed to have drones, right? We just were not allowed to have drones that day. A lot of you emailed us and said, that was a lie, actually.
Frank Turek made an appearance on Megyn Kelly's show where he explicitly stated that Charlie's security team had drones in the area. Matter-of-factly, they sent Charlie videos from the drones in anticipation of his arrival.
When we were driving into that event, this is the first event I've gone to a college campus with Charlie. He said, Frank, if you can come help me the first couple of days, could you stay an extra day and come with me to the first event? I said, of course. So we're driving in, Megyn, and his team has drones up, looking at the crowd from above, and they text him some video. And there's thousands of people there an hour before the start. And I said, Charlie, I don't like this place. There's too many buildings.
So what happened to the drones that were supposed to be scouting the area? They should have reportedly picked up on Tyler Robinson immediately he got onto the roof. What happens when you piece this information to reports that Brian Harpole never prepared security for an event Charlie was having the next day at Charis Bible College? According to TPUSA data, the next day after Charlie's appearance at Utah Valley University, he was supposed to speak at Charis Bible College in Colorado. But for some reason, the head of his security team, Brian Harpole, never reached out to the school to set up the venue, discuss crowd size, or Charlie's safety.
Next day, right on September 11th, immediately following UVU, his next event, which was for some reason barely publicized, was to take place at Charis Bible College. September 11th. We broke the story, actually. We also broke a story that a security plan was not put in place for that event, which is remarkable. And Brian Harpole has all but confirmed our reporting in his court filing against me. Look at what he wrote regarding Charis Bible. He said, according to Owens' supposed tipster, there was, quote, no security plan in place at Charis Bible College, claiming that it was odd that Harpole's team planned Kirk's security strategy for Utah Valley University 2 weeks in advance, but failed to contact the chief of police for Woodland, Colorado to plan security for Charis Bible College.
In addition to this, the new Turning Point executives have been reportedly spreading the narrative that Charlie Kirk was so healthy and had a neck as strong as Superman that it not only stopped the bullet of a 30-06, but also shattered it. Gun experts, however, are not buying into this. If Tyler Robinson truly pulled the trigger of his grandfather's 30-06 on Charlie that day, gun experts and lawmen argue that we would have seen a more gory version of what happened to Charlie at UVU.
The Kirk thing's weird because now there's video footage from behind. The round that he was shot with was a 30-06, which is a big round. That's a round that you kill a moose with. And it doesn't even have an exit wound.
Right.
It don't make no sense. It makes zero sense.
Tyler Robinson's grandfather is pushing back the narrative that his grandson pulled the trigger that day. According to him, Tyler was set up and they are willing to take this argument to the ends of the earth.
Here's what his grandfather had to say briefly at the hearing.
What are you guys for Tyler? What are you for Tyler or the other side?
Grandparents.
Oh, your grandparents? Oh,
I'm really sorry you're going through this.
yeah, it's tough for you guys.
Yeah, it sucks. But we're here to support them. So.
Yeah, we think your grandchild is absolutely brave, but I'm an investigative journalist, so
Well, I do too. I'm a hunter and I know what 30-06 you do.
man, you know, you're I can tell you that you're very right.
If this is true, then it would possibly make up for how Tyler Robinson was reportedly already in police custody before he posted his confession to his friends on Discord.
The consequences of me being right is that there is a multi-agency cover-up to frame Tyler Robinson. Why? Because he then supposedly, an hour and a half after that Miranda recording, if I'm right, the Miranda reading, he supposedly confessed to his buddies on Discord. And if I'm right, who the hell wrote that Discord message? Who wrote it? Did Tyler Robinson write that Discord message? And if Tyler didn't write that Discord message, and someone faked it, why? Why did they fake the Discord message? And if they faked the Discord message, did they fake the text messages? Well, we can't know because they're not going to introduce the forensic evidence of this. They're just going to introduce the screenshot.
To make matters even more suspicious, former director of the National Counterterrorism Center, Joe Kent, revealed that he was reportedly given a direct order not to investigate Charlie's shooting. However, he allegedly did not want to be a part of the cover-up, so he resigned.
What happened to Charlie Kirk?
Can I just ask you to pause on the Charlie Kirk because it upsets me to hear what you're saying, to be reminded that he was murdered. But also to hear you confirm what was reported in the media several months ago, that your office had been blocked from investigating his murder. That does not make sense to me. I don't understand why you would ever turn down help in an investigation.
But here we have Erika claiming that she has seen the investigation being pulled together, that she had been in constant contact with the lawyers and had irrefutable evidence that Tyler Robinson did it.
Do you believe that Tyler Robinson murdered your husband?
Yes, I do.
Why do you think it is so hard for so many people to believe that reality?
Because it's too simple. Again, everyone always has to think there's more to the story. Well, sometimes there's not. I've seen the autopsy report. I've seen our case pulled together. I've been in constant contact with our lawyers, the prosecuting team. I've seen it all.
Here we have her discussing merch sales and donations while calling her husband's memorial the event of the century in the same breath.
I don't even know where to begin. The fact that we were able to pull off an event of a century, like, it's just insane. We had over 275,000 people that attended, and a stadium overflow, Westgate, insane, you guys. And then you have, was it 100 million?
And as if it couldn't get any more disturbing, Erika reportedly approved for a replica of the tent that Charlie was unalived in to be displayed at AM Fest so people could take photos in it.
And you can see from behind me, this is a recreation of the tent where Charlie Kirk lost his life at Utah University in September, and people are taking selfies with it.
I can't.
When you tie all of these pieces together, in addition to all the other irregularities that have been pointed out about Erika Kirk and the new trajectory of Turning Point USA, it's hard not to see the word cover-up written boldly. And now the private contractor who was brought in to bury the crime scene is doing the exact opposite. He is exposing it. Erika's name was not explicitly mentioned. However, sources allege that she knew of the contractors and what their job statement was to cover up the crime scene. Right now, more information is still being gathered concerning this. However, here's what people who have been following this story closely have to say. The paving over of the crime scene was the biggest red flag to me of the entire Charlie Kirk assassination. The fact that the FBI were involved with getting it paved over is suspicious. That's not their job. Never in history has a crime scene been legally covered up before any investigation was conducted. At the moment, what's important to us are your judgment and your perspectives. We would like to know what you think about these new findings and these opinions, so please leave your thoughts down in the comments. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button too. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.